Good morning, everyone. Welcome into our Saturday morning coaches show, and we've got soccer for you today. We're going to start with Lady Cat report, and we've got Javier Aguayo.
Yes,
First
sir.
time we've had him on.
Oh, yeah.
He's been moving and had some illness in the family and all kinds of things, but we're very, very grateful to have Coach Aguayo on today. And two of his captains, 2 out of the 3 with us, is Ashley Noe and also Jasmine Olvera. And another captain is Haley Robinson, but doesn't look like she's going to be
probably going to make it today. Yeah.
So maybe we'll see her later on, as we certainly look for several more weeks of soccer to go with the end of the season. You've got senior night coming up.
Yes,
so
sir.
does Alexi. He's here too. Alexi Upton, Wildcats head coach, and then playoffs. If you haven't clinched, you got to be moving in on that.
Oh, yeah.
With a nice 6-2 record, but we'll get into that discussion, and so look forward to that. And before we do, as we always do, we'll kind of race through everything else that's going on. It's a little bit of a abbreviated schedule coming up because it is spring break officially. We'll start with Wildcats baseball. They're going to be playing today, and all these teams, soccer, baseball, softball, all have games during spring break. So for a lot of students, and track is running at a meet during spring break. So a lot of people involved here. Wildcats baseball is in the Wiley East tournament, and they are 3-0-1 in that tournament. They had a tie and then 3 victories. They won 2 games yesterday, and they've made their way into the championship game. They'll play today at 3 o'clock at Wiley East versus Dallas Lake Highlands, a team that they've already beaten in that tournament, but they'll play them again. This week for baseball, believe it or not, on Tuesday they begin district play. Baseball is the odd sport. They play 3 rounds instead of 2, so they play everybody 3 times, so they get an early start even before they finish up their tournament. So Royce City in Sulphur Springs on Tuesday night, district opener, and then the Hallsville tournament wrapping up their tournament season Thursday through Saturday. Lady Cat softball, great success also in a Wiley tournament. They've gone 3-1 in that tournament, including 2 wins yesterday. And oh, by the way, on Friday, well, actually it was on Thursday when the Lady Cats won their first game in that tournament, number 300 in his career for Lady Cat softball coach David Carrillo, and that's here. He's probably won another 100 games or something at other schools, but he's won 300 here. He's in his 14th year, so a great career for Coach David Carrillo. And today they'll play North Mesquite at Wiley High School 2 o'clock. And then they'll be playing Saxe at 4 o'clock on Field B, and I have no idea where that is over in Wiley. It may be a park nearby or something, but that's that. This week at Sherman on Tuesday, non-district, at McKinney North on Thursday, and then hosting Wiley East on Friday. And congratulations to 3 power lifters who are going to be heading to the state meet, George Greenway, Jesse Carrillo, and also Sable Erdmeyer, the first Lady Cat, the first female from Sulphur Springs High School to go to the state meet. Congratulations to her. She's in her 2nd year of lifting. And her meet will be the 21st of this month in Waco, and the guys will be lifting in Abilene on the 28th. Lady Cats and Wildcats track, again, they will be at Mount Pleasant on Thursday for a meet. And I think that's everything else. Now, Coach, there was one thing. I think on your original schedule, you had the Lady Cats playing on Friday.
That is correct. So I set it up as the 13th instead of the 17th. So
is that real? Is that the way it is?
Yeah. So instead of playing this next Friday during spring break, everyone has an open day, so it's off, and then we play the next week on Tuesday, the 17th, when we come back from the.
And that's the Royce City game you're talking about.
That is correct. Royce City at Royce City.
Okay, because some people may have it on their schedule for Friday.
Yeah, so I sent a reminder out to parents, and I made sure Coach Owens knew about it. So I know he's going to send out an email and just kind of post it for the whole school. So instead of 13, it's the 17th. Yeah.
Yeah, that, he did put that out. He put out a spring break schedule, which included both soccer teams being off on Friday. So if you see another schedule, it's actually playing Royce City the following Tuesday.
That's correct.
To wrap things up.
Yes, sir.
I guess it'll be senior night for them over there.
Yeah, yes, it will.
But that team that's right up at the top of the standings, as well as we are, and Mount Pleasant as well after last night's game. And Coach, we'll start with you and just give us a little breakdown on the game last night. You had to be thrilled with the way the Lady Cats played last night.
Yeah, me and Chris were very proud of the way they played. It was an intense game. I mean, since right off the bat, they came out and played aggressive, but I think we were ready for that. We saw that they were playing aggressive at their house, so this time around, I told the girls, hey, we have to be ready for that. You know how they're going to come out and play, which they did. They did great. They went out there, controlled the game, and I think we controlled mostly all the game last night, which it has been throughout the whole season. I think we've controlled most all the games out there, but just little mistakes here and there, which for the past couple of games, I think we've cleaned that up, and we're looking like a complete team. Yeah.
It was an unusual game. You got off to a great start. You we talked about Haley Robinson as one of the captains. She got in on the goal and took a shot. It hit the left post and bounced right out to Rebecca Stanley, and she tucked it right inside that right post, and you had a 1-0 lead, and that was thrilling to get a lead on Mount Pleasant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right off the bat. You know, when we saw Haley take the shot and, like you said, hit the post and came back out, I was praying. I'm like, gosh, just get to it, Rebecca, and she did. She got to it and just put it right in. And I mean, when you're 1-0, it's just it's a big relief. I mean, as a coach and even as them as players, we were thrilled to be up 1-0.
Now, unfortunately, a very, very unusual looking goal, and it caused a little bit of confusion on exactly what happened. But Doug was telling me what he thought from looking at the game video and kind of slowing it down a million times and all that. But they take a corner kick and look like an unbelievably fantastic catch by your keeper. But she kind of tumbles to the ground, and then the next thing you know, Mount Pleasant's jumping up and down, and they've got a goal. And so, tell us in how you saw that one.
The way I saw the ball kind of coming in, and I thought McKenna saved it. But if you think about it, like you said, you guys saw a film, when McKenna goes up for the ball, she kind of puts the ball in. So I mean, the rule is, I mean, once the ball passes that line, the net, I mean, it's a goal.
Yeah.
But McKenna, she grabbed the ball, she caught it, but when she was coming down, she kind of put it in. She tried to hide it by coming back the other side. But I mean, the ARF saw it, and I talked to him, like, was it a goal? And he was like, yeah, it was a goal. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of saw the same thing.
Doug's interpretation was that the ball, when she caught it, was actually already in the net. And that she went ahead and fell, and may have fallen into the net, but it looked like it was across the line when she caught it, and then she fell down, and it was in the net. But still, a fantastic catch.
It was.
Right, with everybody around and everything like that. Because I thought that's what I was going to be talking about until they started jumping around. So with just a minute and a half left, and you go into halftime, did you kind of just have to tell everybody to kind of put that out of your mind and just, think forward? What I was thinking of is what a good second half team your Lady Cats have been.
Yeah, I mean, we just, I told McKenna was beating herself up for it. I'm like, hey, you couldn't do nothing about that. I'm like, you did your best. You playing a heck of a first half. And she did. She had a really good first half. Yeah. We went inside the locker room, we talked, and I'm like, hey, just keep playing the way you're playing. Just come out a little bit more intense, more aggressive, and let's just keep playing the way we're playing. And they did. I mean, like I said, I think the second half we dominated even more than the first half.
But unfortunately, they went ahead 2-1. You had a call, I think, on a corner kick, and a lot of, stuff going on in the box, and the call of a foul in the box, a PK. And here I'm thinking, Mount Pleasant hasn't really generated a pretty looking scoring play. They're up 2-0 on the verge of maybe winning the match. And they're up 2-1, and yet, like you say, we've really dominated, had the better of it, and had a pretty goal on top of it. So it looked unfortunate to that situation.
Yeah, it did. I mean, and like I tried to get the ref to explain to me and Chris, what was the call, and all he said was, one of the players pushed another player in the box, But we just, want on the ground or anything like that. And I get, I get it. If you push someone from behind, it's a foul. I mean, it's a PK. But we just really didn't know which was a player that did the push.
Yeah.
But yeah, he called the PK in favor of them. All we had to do is I told the girls, let's go 0-0. Let's keep working. That's all we have to do.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened because, again, it looked like, you can always hang your head and say, wow, we should have won this, and you end up losing 2-1. But that's not the way it happened.
No, it wasn't.
And so you get a goal to tie it up, a big one.
Sir.
So tell us about that one.
So we started noticing their right back. Well, they played 3-5-2, so they were relieving gaps on the left side. So I told Chris, I think we need to put Ashley Noe to the left, out wide, and bring in Yamaguchi in the middle and get things going. And right when we did that, it was a deflection. I think Janine gave you the pass, right? I think that's what it was. Janine played a ball to Ashley, and Ashley was right open in that gap, and she just drove in and scored.
Yeah.
So it worked. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that was so huge because that kind of removes that stigma, that you could possibly lose it. You're still 2-2, you're even, it's a new game and all that. And there were still about 20 minutes left to go.
It was, yeah.
And then, what a moment, with just like 2.5 minutes left to play, you get a free kick.
Yeah.
You're out 34 yards. I mean, you're out,
yards.
some distance from the goal. And Rebecca Stanley, now you had a little thing going there that you told me about after the game. You had some people, I don't know what they were doing, but they kind of had the attention of the keeper, and maybe she was a little bit distracted, and that helped Rebecca. Well, beautiful shot. It was well placed, and put it in the net out there without much of a reaction from the keeper. So you had some people around the goal.
Yeah, me and Chris told Haley, hey, go up to the box and just be in front of the goalie. And then once we saw the goalie was kind of a little nervous, I told Lois, go in there as well. So they both went in there, and then Rebecca takes the shot, and it goes in. Yeah. So.
Well, that's in the screening. You hear about that in hockey all the time. You see the goalkeeper, and he's looking this way and this way, trying to get a lane where he can see the puck coming in there. The same way in soccer, you put players in front of the keeper, and they're screened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what we did, is screen the keeper.
Good strategy, Coach.
Oh, thank you.
You're sneaky.
Sneaky,
Sneaky coach there, but it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Then you had to hold them off, because the whole second half they really changed to where they were pushing the offense. They, instead of being back so much, they were pushing everybody forward and really putting the pressure on. But we withheld all that stuff.
See, and they're Mount Pleasant. I mean, they're very good at high press. Their high press game is really good, and they have some wingers that are really fast. So the last, like you said, the last 3 minutes or so of the game, they were just out there, just constantly attacking, and trying to get another goal. And I just told the girls, hey, let's play smart. We got this game. And just keep playing, and they did. They played smart, and we came out with the win.
And wrapped it up. Beautiful 3-2 win.
Yes, sir.
All right. We definitely want to talk with Ashley Noe and also Jasmine Olvera, and we will do that. But let's take our first internal break, and we'll come back and talk to those young ladies and talk some more with Coach Aguayo right after this break. And back here on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, we've got Coach Javier Aguayo is with us. Also Ashley Noe. Ashley, you're a senior.
Yes, sir.
And Jasmine Olvera, and are you a senior too? Two senior captains, and I'll tell you, before I talk to them, Coach, tell me about these two players for you, Ashley Noe and Jasmine Olvera.
Ashley Noe, what can I say? She's a phenomenal player. She's very adaptable. I could play her anywhere in the field, and she won't complain, and she'll go out there and do her best. I mean, this season I've played her center back, right back, left back, center mid, winger, striker, and she goes out there and works.
Play keeper for you?
She tried to convince me, but like I told her one day in practice, I'm like, go out there and try. I'm like, sorry, you've been hired and fired the same day.
Oh no.
So basically everything on the field is set for keeper.
Yeah.
We'll keep her out of keep for a while. Jasmine, phenomenal player. I mean, she has good vision, great first touch. Besides that, I think she's the one that kind of keeps the girls in line out there, and makes my job a little easier, and I really appreciate it.
Defender for you.
Defender.
Right back, I think you call it.
She'll play right back or left back for me, and also holding mid when we need her. Yeah. So.
All right, Ashley Noe, 3 years on the varsity. I guess you've probably been playing soccer since a long time.
I started playing when I was about 10 years old.
10. Okay.
Yes.
And you know, as the coach says, have you played all over, all positions and stuff?
No, I never played defender until this year, and it was a big change for me.
Yeah.
You kind of, as a freshman, weren't you more of a forward for the Lady Cats? Or
I was more of like an attacking mid.
Oh, okay.
Coach Deleon was like, you're a runner, so I kind of played more midfield.
You like it out there in the middle? You're kind of, I see that as the transition from going from defense to offense, and you're, I guess, almost like a quarterback. You know, you're kind of, I know you kind of move the ball up the field looking for different people, but do you like that position?
Yes, I definitely feel like kind of almost like safe there because I've always played there.
And so I know the ball, a lot of times you look for Rebecca Stanley or Janine Yamaguchi or Haley Robinson or whoever the forwards are up there that are maneuvering around, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. How was that Mount Pleasant game? Doug told me it was a war out there, that it was very, very physical,
Yes.
probably a lot of elbows and stuff going on. It was a tough game, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
But as Coach said, you were told that and kind of expecting that and adapted well.
Yes.
Tell us about that goal you scored.
Oh.
He moved you around a little bit. That's
Yes.
always a thrill to score, isn't it?
Yes, I was really happy when I got to go play wing because I really enjoy playing wing. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember the goal. It was like I just like blinked and it was in the net and everybody was like jumping. But
That was a big one. You were down 2-1, so when you get even like that, it you know, it gives you a good feeling.
yes,
How is this team this year? Having a great year. And let's check the record here: 6-2 in district
Yes.
play, and 10-8-1. Already 10 wins for the season. So just kind of the season's come together, huh?
yes. We definitely have a good chemistry between the team and we all get along really well, and which is really nice and it shows up in the field. So.
All right. Yeah, been a good one. A close bunch of girls on the team.
Yes.
Good. That always helps. You guys kind of like to hang together and be together as a team and stuff.
Yes.
Very good. And Jasmine Olvera, another senior, 3 years on the varsity. When did you start playing?
Probably around the same time as Ashley. We always played against each other in City League.
A long time going back there.
Yeah.
We've had some that were tiny tots.
Yeah.
And one of them told me she remembers her first game crying, but and Daddy came over and made everything all right.
Yeah.
So, but that was a nice story. Jasmine, have you played a lot of different positions on the soccer field?
Mainly I've been defense pretty much ever since I've started playing until this year. He's moved me to holding mid.
A lot of pressure back there.
Yeah.
You just have to, you know, you got some fast forwards coming in there and stuff, and you just have to hang with them, huh?
Yeah. Just kind of watch where they're going and be smart with it.
Tell us about this season so far, as you see it.
This season's been really good. I think overall the team's just been growing. Just as individuals, we've all been working to grow better together and make something come out of it. So.
As a captain back there, do you kind of, or do they kind of come to you with questions and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes a lot of the younger players have a lot of questions, especially JV girls. They want to move up, they want to get better, so I get a lot of questions about that.
All right, close bunch this year. You seem to, everybody seems, you know, of course, winning helps, but everybody seems to get along, and there have to be times, you know, when things aren't going so well, that, you know, you kind of have to depend, especially on your captains. Ashley, do they come to you too, and, you know, with questions and stuff like that?
Yes, both varsity and JV, I always have questions. And like, whenever like I see somebody like at practice or I see somebody in the game, I always make sure I text them like that night or the day before. And like some of the JV girls are like, oh, it just means so much coming from you, and like that makes me feel good about them. I'm glad I'm like motivating them to keep pushing harder in practice.
Jasmine, pretty good job on defense last night. You know, there was a corner kick. That's not really on the defense, and then you know the call in the box. You get those sometime, but really a good solid defensive effort last night.
Thank you. I think we were really trying to work hard on not making mistakes. That was our big thing. Don't make little mistakes. Don't make little mistakes, because the little things add up in the end, and that really showed last night.
Yeah, on defense, unforgiving. Make a mistake, and a
Yeah.
lot of times it ends up in the net. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. But good job last night,
Thank you.
both players. And Coach, again, you had to be thrilled with the outcome.
Oh, yeah.
6-2 in district. You're tied with them, and I guess you're a game behind Royce City. Is that the way it is?
That's correct. So Royce City won last night against Greenville 1-0.
Yeah.
So that
closely.
means Royce City's back on top again this year. So they're first place. We're actually in second now because of goal differential. We have more goals in favor than Mount Pleasant. So we're second, and then Mount Pleasant third, and T-High is fourth. Yeah, so now all we have to do is Tuesday we'll host T-High, and we have to win that game and go out to Royce City and win that game, and hopefully we go up top and win district.
Yeah, certainly could happen.
So
You
it could
put
happen,
yourself in a position to do that.
That's correct.
But with Royce City, you got them on the horizon. Of course, it's a week away. That
Yeah.
may help to where, you sure don't want to overlook T-High.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're a tough
a
opponent.
handful the first time, and you don't want to, senior night, that'll be a big, how many seniors you got?
We have 8 seniors this year.
How many?
8.
Oh, 8. I thought
8.
you said 18.
No, 8.
Holy cow.
No,
Greenville had a team, a
yes.
boys team
Last
like that
year.
last year. They had a whole roster
Oh,
of
yeah.
seniors and one freshman
Yeah.
goalkeeper.
I mean, just like Alexi this year. Alexi, you have 16,
So
right?
It's a wonder they even fielded a team this year.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, that was amazing. 8 seniors.
8 seniors, that's correct, yeah.
All right.
8
Well, that'll be a great night. We want people to get out and support
Yeah.
those Lady Cats.
Coming
Weather's
out.
getting better. Have
It
you
is.
ever seen better soccer weather than last night? It was nice,
It was
wasn't
really nice. Yeah, it's really good weather. So I think Tuesday will be the same way. So yeah, come out and support the girls. Come watch them play.
What do you remember about T-High and the way they play from first time?
They have some girls that can play. They're pretty fast. They also press, kind of like Mount Pleasant, but not as aggressive. They're more of a pressing team, but also they try to touch the ball, kind of like us. So it's a little mixture of both. But I think if we play the way we played against Mount Pleasant, I mean, it should be no difference than what happened yesterday. We should be able to touch the ball and just move the game around, and hopefully it goes in our favor.
We enjoyed having you on today. We've got to bring you
Appreciate
back.
it. Thank you, Don.
And we appreciate Ashley Noe and also Jasmine Overa from the Lady Cat soccer team, a couple of 3-year varsity players and seniors, and they'll be geared up for senior night. That's always a big
Yeah.
night. So
They're stoked. They're looking forward to it.
yeah, it's a nice night. So
Yeah, it is.
It's nice to be a part of, and so we always enjoy that. So best of luck, Coach.
Thank you, Don.
One game this week, Texas High
Yes, sir.
at the Prim on Tuesday, and then an off night on Friday.
That's correct. Yeah.
Very good. That's our Lady Cat report. Alexi Upton's here to slide in and tell us about Wildcat soccer, and we'll do that right after this break. And back on our Saturday morning coaches show, and kind of neat, Coach Aguayo and the young ladies are our studio audience now for you, Alexi Upton.
Yes, sir.
Not everybody gets a studio audience here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's good. We're always a family. We help them, they help us. We try to give things to them. We always communicate times and make sure that we're on the right page all the time. And at the end of the year, we'll probably do a group thing with them as well when we have a big gathering and all that. So, we really care about us getting together. And having Aguayo with us last year was important. So he just moves over there and helps them. So, we always communicate with them, and it's important for us to be close-knit. So,
I've always seen it as a soccer family.
Yeah.
Just over the years, the way the two teams support each other. Now, most of the time, like last night, you're over at Mount Pleasant, they're here, and so it's not easy to do that. But usually, if it happens where one's playing on a night when the other one, you always see the other team, come over and support.
yeah, we played on a Monday night in Lindell so we could go to the basketball game, and we had a lot of their players at our game, a lot of JV kids, a lot of varsity girls. So, they love to support us, and we love to support them. We had a couple days earlier in the preseason where we didn't have anything, and they did, and we were always at their games as well. So,
Now, a lot of times, I've noted over the years, when teams are winning, the information comes freely.
yeah.
But sometimes when the losses happen, I can't hear anything, and nothing happens. You manned up last night. You had to man up because obviously it just was not what you wanted, as you went over to Mount Pleasant, and there's probably a lot of reasons for that, and we can get into those. But a loss to Mount Pleasant, a big anticipated game. We had to think it was going to be close. They only beat us 1-0 at the Prim, got a kind of a late goal, but just didn't happen for you last night for one reason or the other.
Yeah, we just had a multitude of factors. It was kind of the perfect storm kind of situation where, it all just came together at the same time, and the 80 minutes clicks off the clock, and you're like, yeah, let's just forget this one. Let's throw that away and let's reset next week. 6-0 was the result we wanted. We had 2 kids that just ran a track meet last night, and then they donated blood because we had a blood drive Friday morning. Trainers sending me emails about, don't let them play. They donated blood. Not smart from them. And they were kind of tired and beat up. And we have a center back that's hurt, DJ, our captain. He's probably going to rest all the way till playoffs because we tried to put him in there for about 10 minutes and it was a no-go. So BB's still serving a red card, Brian Sanchez. So when you're missing 4 of your 5 dudes on a back line and you finish the game with 2 JV kids, a freshman, and a guy that doesn't play defense, it won't end up well for you. And you can pull that kind of stuff on maybe a Greenville or a T-High or somebody that's a little lesser, but when you do that against Mount Pleasant, they're gonna punish you. They're gonna make you hurt. It hurt, and but I think our kids realize that that was kind of a fluke, and that's kind of a bad game that we'll just forget, and they'll move on from that.
Yeah, that's the key, because the worst thing, on a game like that is to kind of dwell on it, and one loss can become 2, can become 3, and then it becomes a trend. But I guess there's a thin line. You have to remember your mistakes and try to make those. But at the same time, it is best, just like you say, hey, let's move on. Let's put that in the past and move forward to what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just got to move on from that. I don't think we did anything, horribly wrong. There wasn't a million mistakes. Some little things that we could clean up, and we'll talk about that as we go into practice next week over the break and next week after the break. But we're right where we belong. We're in second. We're pretty much locked there, unless we just, like you said, implode. We're locked into that spot, and we kind of like our path, our playoff path, and we already kind of started looking at where we match up and where we line up in the playoff bracket. And our kids have kind of looked at that. I've showed them, and they kind of seen it too. We play some familiar people that we've seen in the preseason. That was a really good reason why we made our preseason so hard.
Yeah.
Played at Jacksonville, played at West Mesquite. We may be seeing those guys in a second or third round situation. So it was really important for us to have that hard preseason. And, I think our kids are prepared. I think they look at a moment like this and they say, that was unlucky. That wasn't our best. That's not our best performance. And, they learn from that and then they move on.
Have you clinched anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're playoff bound for sure. We've been since about 2 games ago.
Okay.
So, we're good there. Just trying to lock up that second seed and then move on into playoffs. And
Anybody pushing you from down below?
no, at Lindale, about 6-7 games ago, tied Greenville and went into PKs with them. So they lost that crucial point. So they'll stay third unless, like I said, unless we just start imploding. But I don't see us happening and doing that. So pretty much second in that bag. It's just kind of those things where you got 2 more, you got to go take care of them, and then you'll have it. So we're doing really good. Record's 12-6-5. We've been right where we need to be. We've passed our win total from last year. And we're growing and getting better. We got a great senior class. So like I said, just 6-0 is just kind of like, let's dust that one off and let's move on from it. So.
Yeah, quite a season record. It's still 12-6-5, and that's again, I need to do some research to find out just how good that is and how that kind of stacks up. But it sounds awfully good, and it sounds especially compared to last year, and so things are moving up.
Yeah, anytime you're 6 wins over 500, I mean, that's really good, and that shows that your kids are playing really well. They're taking care of business. Winning games is hard. Staying in games is easy, but winning them's hard.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what we've really grown as a group and as a team. Last year it seemed like we were always just trying to stay in games, and then this year I feel like we're actually going out and we're winning them. And then that's a big step of improvement for us. So.
All right, very good. Let's take our last internal break. We'll come back and wrap it up with Coach Upton right after this. And back on the Saturday morning coaches show with Coach Alexi Upton. The Wildcats head coach, and we're very fortunate in Sulphur Springs to have him. I think he's a bright young coach. I can say that, Coach. Your head's not swelling too big.
No.
I think you're an excellent coach and doing a great job and got us pointed in the right direction. Just don't run off anywhere. Hang around, man.
No.
But let's talk about your next game. Just like Javier, you got a game on Tuesday, and then we'll take Friday off. I guess I don't know if that's a spring break bye or why the district did that, but it kind of pops in there. When I think about Texas High, I think about that wily old veteran, Jesus De Leon.
Goodness.
Our girls coach here, and he can be a tricky son of a gun. And last time, he gave you about everything you wanted. You got away with a win there on the Prim.
Yeah, going to T-High is always fun for us. Last year when we went to them, we had an hour-and-a-half lightning delay.
Wonderful!
Yeah,
bonding time.
Yeah, it was really great. It was a good team bonding time. We were playing baseball in their locker room and just messing around. We were having a really great time. We always have a special time when we go to T-High. Get to just travel. Road trips are fun. I think we tell kids all the time that that's what you remember. But enjoy every moment, be in every moment, because those are the things you remember. They still talk about playing baseball in there. They said they didn't want to warm up. They just wanted to go play baseball and then hop into the game. I go, no, we're not going to do that. So it's a good game. It should have not have been as close as it was the first time. But we just couldn't finish. And the De Leon's pulling out some stuff from 1995 with offside traps and stuff. And and so I told our kids, I was like, nobody does that anymore. So. It was a frustrating game for us, but, I think the second time around, we know that and we expect that. And when you know something a little more about an opponent and you know kind of what they're going to do, you can kind of prepare a little better. And so, that's something we'll work on in practice on Monday, making sure we time those runs and make sure that we get in correctly and that we're good to go for that.
Yeah. You talked about the camaraderie and the road trips and all that. One of my favorite memories of Wildcat soccer after a big playoff win, and it was a tough game, and we were just thrilled to win it. And I think when Tony Bravo was a senior on that team, and Doug and I were loading the equipment in the car, and here comes the team bus by, and every one of those guys was singing at the top of their lungs as they went by. They were the happiest bunch I've seen.
Yeah, that's what's really good to see, is to see your group get along and really have a good time together. You talked about when you're winning, it makes it a lot better. But referencing back to the girls, it's hard to watch a team that didn't really like each other. I feel like they kind of struggled last year, not really liking each other. And that comes with wins and losses. And then this year they're doing a really better job and they're winning a lot of games. And I think obviously with winning helps, but I think with leadership helps too. And so we talk about leadership and leading them in the right direction. It's great to see that Guayo's doing such a great job, because when you go to every practice and you see that everybody's having a good time and everybody really likes each other, that's a really good sign of great leadership. So we talk about that all the time. We want our kids to be together, cohesive. It's a family, it's a brotherhood. I actually mentioned that last night at Mount Pleasant. We lost 6-0, and I said, hey, at the end of the day, we all what? And they were like, love each other. And then I go, and it's a what? Brotherhood. They know the answers to the questions, So it's good that, our kids care about each other. And, like I said, and on the other side, it's good to see that, they're getting along so well and that, they're having success as well.
Yeah, your close didn't end. It ended the same way, win or lose. I'm proud of these guys and very glad to be coaching them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Now, you only had 1 year with Javier. Did you get to teach him everything you know?
No, he's a smart man. He.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
He knows a lot. He knows a lot. I think he picked up some things. He liked some things that we did and that I did. And so I think he took some of that to the girls, and I think that's helped out a lot. But I think he had his own vision for what he wanted to do with that group. And then, when you have your own vision, and you finally get to take the helm, you get to kind of explore and you get to see, well, hey, that doesn't really work. Hey, this works. You kind of get to see what works and what doesn't work. And then you can go from there. And you also kind of get to see how managing players is and how managing kids is. I feel like, that's 80% of the battle for us. 20% is just going out there and playing the game. But, managing the kids and, you can't yell at this kid. Or, you have to yell at this kid. Every kid's different. How you approach each situation's different. So I think that's important too, and I think that's something that he learns on his own, and he gets in overtime. But he was already smart. He was already knew the game, and he already knew what he wanted to do. So good for them, and I'm glad that they've kind of moved into a second place, and they can still go fight for first and win district. So
Yeah, still got a shot at that
Yep.
brass ring there. Yeah, you talked about, and one thing a coach has to learn, because a lot of coaches, very rigid, they tell you, I treat everybody the same. Well, that doesn't always work, because what motivates one kid won't motivate another.
Yeah, I see that. We do everything the same mentality on a lot of coaches, and I also see that reserved coach. We went to the Frisco tournament, and you get to see 30 teams all in one tournament. You get to see different styles of how people are. That's what I'm always looking at. I'm always looking at team styles and how they're playing the game, and I'm also looking at coaching. I always look at what does this guy do different than I do. I try to pick things up, and one thing that I noticed when we were at that tournament was there's a lot of coaches that are still that old mentality of like just quiet. They don't really say anything to kids. They're kind of totalitarian, kind of dictatorship style, and that doesn't work. That's not the modern day kid. You can't treat the kid like that. You have to almost be their friend without being their friend. You got to nourish them and support them, but then still have that line and say hey you're here to work and you're here to be a part of this program. But every one of them is different, and you got to treat each one different. So many different factors go into everything. So
When you were a player, did you say, I want to be a coach? Did that happen when you were a player?
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I had Colby Peak that was here at
great mentor.
Yeah, at Sulphur. He was a coach for me for 3 years when I was at Poteet. And then, I was just like, this is really cool. I just love everything about soccer. I really want to be a coach, And, he kind of helped me, figure out the right degree plan that I needed to go down so I can start that process. And, I've started doing that with a couple of my kids. I have a couple of kids that are interested in becoming coaches. Kevin Yana has expressed interest in doing it, and Noe Ponce as well, if he doesn't do engineering. So, they're interested in well as it too. So, that would be really great at the end of the day if I look back, I see 3 or 4 kids that I've had as players, be coaches as well. I took a picture with Colby about a couple months ago, and it was me, another guy on my 2013 state team, and Colby, all in the 3 pick. And, it's just cool to see people coaching, see people that you played with, and, now they're coaching. So, I'm sure that is a lot of pride for him, and, hopefully one day that'll be a lot of pride for me as well. So.
Yeah, we hear it from coaches all the time, that they just see it in somebody. And maybe they're helping younger kids, on the team, and they really, they may have to plant the idea of, hey, have you thought about coaching?
Yeah.
And then we have some that do that, and so I think you can kind of spot that.
Yeah.
I just wondered about if Peak saw that in you, or
Yeah, absolutely. When I graduated, I came back my first year out of getting out of school, and I still came back and volunteered. I was just doing community college my first year. And so I was close to home, and he was like, hey, just hop on our bus and, just hop on and help us out. And so, I'd always go to all the games and still help their JV group, still organize people and still talk to people. And, he said, hey, you're going to be a heck of a coach one day. His senior gift he gave to every senior was a Bible. And then on the back he wrote, a really nice message to everybody. I think we had like 10 seniors my senior year. And on the back, my message was like, hey, whenever you go overseas and you're being a big-time coach, he's like, call me, I'll be your assistant. and I just laughed. But, that was special. That means a lot to me, It means a lot that people believe in you. And, I always, I'm always really happy to hear, you always say good things about us. And, it's really good to hear that people believe in you and people see that you're, being successful and that the kids are enjoying it and that winning is coming. And, that's always good to hear.
Yeah, I will say I'm very pleased with the situation in boys and girls soccer right now.
Yeah.
I think we've got great coaches, and you guys doing a great job, and teams pointed in the right direction, and it's good to see. And hopefully, one of you guys will have a significant run this year.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Those things just kind of pop up. It's always sometimes not expected, and yet you look up and you're 3 and 4 rounds deep into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that would be nice, and hopefully we can experience something like that. So.
Yeah, I think it all comes back to, camaraderie. I think when you have that group that, really loves each other and really cares about each other, they're going to go on a big run. I remember, my group that I had when I went to state, it just seemed like we all just, really loved each other. And we all just had a really good time together. We always just wanted to hang out all the time. You know, it was always a real close-knit group. You know, 2 or 3 of those guys I still talk to all the time on the phone. So, you know, I think when you have that group that's really connected, you know, and they'll live and die for each other. And, you know, and then when you live and die for each other, you'll win games. You know,
Yeah.
if you're willing to work and you're willing to put the effort in to go win the game, you'll win it. And then, you know, next thing you know, like I said, you're 3 or 4 rounds deep. I remember our first playoff game at Standards for a regional tournament. I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, this is cool, man. Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
cool to be under those lights and just being like, knowing that you're playing the best 4 in the region, you know, and you're just like, wow, this is something else. So, you know, I had a little flashback when we were at Lindale. You know, I told you that too. You know, we played Tony Bravo and all them in Sulphur Springs at Lindale. I haven't been there since, you know, that day. So, you know, whatever, 7, 8 years ago, I haven't been to Lindale Stadium. So I came back to that and I was like, whoa, like, man, that's a wicked deja vu right now. Like, so, you know, it's just cool. You know, it's a cool to experience runs. It's always cool to travel, and it's cool to be a part of a family. So.
All right. Yeah, we always refer to that as the brother-in-law game. Dwayne McMeans, former Wildcats football coach, still on the staff up at high school. And he had
Colby.
2 lovely daughters, and one of them married Colby Peak, and one of them married Andy Holt. And so they were really torn. They had T-shirts made, and it had
Had
split
them on
down the
both.
middle and had 2 colors and had both grandkids
I remember that, yeah.
named on each side of the shirt, and they were really torn. I felt really sorry for them because that's tough.
Yeah.
But 2 teams can't win, but that was the famous brother-in-law game.
Emily it was funny. Kobe's wife, Emily, was always like cheering it was cheering the whole game because, you know, she's a Sulphur. So she, you know, I think they scored a goal like right before halftime. She was like, yeah, but she was with all our people. And it was
What's wrong with that
it
girl?
was just funny because it was like all our Poteet people. And she's like, yeah, good job. And we're like, everyone's looking at her like, who are you? And so it was just kind of funny. And then, you know, everybody knew because they saw the shirts. And so, you know, yeah, that was a really funny moment. And, you know, great that we won that game and went on and did good things. But, you know, really proud of our group, you know, going back to, you know, us, you know, 12-6-5, you know, want to beat our last year win total. And, you know, you look across the way and you see the girls are being successful as well. You know, and I think that's all that me and Aguayo have ever talked about. You know, we just want to have, you know, 2 successful programs where, you know, our kids love playing soccer and our kids are really happy to be here. You know, if we're checking those 2 boxes, then, you know, we're going to have a good day and we're going to have a good success.
Coach, appreciate you coming in, and best of luck on Tuesday, and then the next Tuesday, senior night for you.
14.
And yeah,
Yep, it's gonna be 14.
seniors.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
gonna be big. You know, theirs is only 8, so it might be a little quicker. You know, we may have to start ours at about 6:30 or something. I don't know, because we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. So.
Boy, that's a nice big group, but
Yeah.
you know, you have that kind of senior leadership,
Mhm.
and it kind of shows and kind of reflects on the season we've had and
Yeah.
everything. So
Absolutely, you know, a great group of kids and a great group of leaders, and great group of just hard workers. You know, just step into every game and just go work hard. And I think that's really all you can ask. So.
but those guys can always, whatever they write is much shorter than what we get from the girls.
Mhm.
No offense to the young ladies over there,
Right, they
but
write
it just works that
they write a
way.
beautiful page, and the guys are like greatest memory, just winning games.
It's all sports. I saw the guys at baseball last year. It was like, you know, they were lucky to
It's
get
like
2 sentences
one
out of
line.
that guy.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
so, yeah, baseball senior night went real fast, but, you know, sometimes they take a little bit of time. But again, I was talking to the young ladies about, we really enjoy being a part of that. And look forward to yours against Royce City coming up. Not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday.
Tuesday,
And then playoffs and all that good stuff, and kind of a reward for the kind of season you guys have had.
Yeah, looking like probably playing a White House.
White House.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you know we maybe start getting going on that and finding some locations and things like that. But yeah, a good reward for you know the season we've had, and I think we've been really successful. So
I don't remember meeting them in the playoffs. I remember, well, let's see, I think the first playoff game that I ever covered was against White House.
Yep.
That was back in '06. That was, well, I hadn't been here very long at all, probably a week or 2, and we played White House over in Lindale. You talked about Lindale, and that was the first venue that I had seen a Wildcat team play in. It was by district against White House, and we decided to do PKs and tried to play all night. I think we had 11 kickers or something.
Yeah,
Or we finally.
let's knock on wood. We don't want
Yeah.
none of that.
Well, it was only good because we came out on the right side of that,
Yeah.
and that was a run, I think, all the way to the regional semi. So that Mount Pleasant beat us. That started a horrible string, but we won't go there. We've buried that, and we're moving on. And Coach, again, thanks for your time on
Yes.
Saturday morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that'll do it. And thank you for joining us this Saturday morning. I'm Don Julian, and so long, everybody.